Salt Lake City, Utah. Founded in 1847 by Mormon pioneers, it served as the backdrop for the 105th American Farm Bureau Convention and Trade Show. I'm Ray DeLessio. Coming up, we'll touch on some of the major issues discussed at this year's convention, get a glimpse of what's new and innovative in the farming industry, and tell you why this incredible canine from Deering, Georgia was named American Farm Bureau's Farm Dog of the Year. All this and more starts right now.
This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Burgamy.
Just a small sample of what the beautiful state of Utah has to offer. Hi everybody, so glad you could join us for a special on-the-road edition of the Farm Monitor. Ray DeLessio, Kenny Burgamy coming to you from the Salt Palace Convention Center here in Salt Lake City. Site of the 105th American Farm Bureau Convention and Trade Show. And Kenny, you and I have been to so many of these over the years, each one unique in their own special way, but each one with pretty much the same areas of focus.
Yeah, Ray. When it comes to this convention, you are guaranteed to get insight into policies and perspectives affecting your farm or agribusiness. There are educational workshops, powerful speakers, new and improved cutting-edge technology. I mean, we could go on and on about it, but we have a lot to get to in the next half hour, so let's get down to business, shall we? Coming up. Every year, convention showcases some of the brightest young minds from around the country in the Young Farmers and Ranchers competitions. But don't let the smiles fool you. These youngsters are fierce competitors, and Georgia's representative definitely held their own. Also, Georgia Farm Bureau members embark on an epic journey to Utah's Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon. Hear firsthand accounts of their breathtaking adventure and the meticulous planning behind this unforgettable trip. Just some of these stories you'll see on the special edition of the Farm Monitor.
As mentioned, they've been holding this convention now for over a century, but much like that very first meeting in Chicago, the emphasis has remained the same. Convention is a time to unite and a time to hear from ag leaders, starting with the pride of Greene County, Georgia, American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall.
I wanted to break my way into the film industry, but you know what they told me? There was only room for one Tom Cruise in Hollywood. So I guess I'll stick to farming.
Hollywood or no Hollywood, this year's convention unfolded like a perfectly scripted story. American Farm Bureau went all out, treating its guests to a red carpet experience while squeezing a wealth of information into just a few memorable days.
This whole convention is put together. It is a major undertaking to get it focused on the members who are Farm Bureau. And it's everything from our Peanut Commission that has a booth in the trade show to companies like Case and John Deere.
I think the biggest thing is the networking. Just, in the time I've been here, seeing people that I've seen in years past, or, standing in line over there a little while ago, had a young farmer out of North Carolina start talking to me, telling me about his operation, some of the challenges he faces day to day. And it's just, to me, it just boils down to the networking that we have here at a conference like this.
Do not leave this convention until you give us that help.
New Frontiers, the theme of this year's convention. President Duvall's annual address was inspiring and motivational as he challenged convention attendees to go even further in their advocacy in the coming year.
Leadership starts with each and every one of us. Whether this is your first convention or your 50th convention, doesn't make any difference. It doesn't matter what your title is or how young or old you are. You can help us chart a path to new frontiers for Farm Bureau and for our communities.
Arguably, the biggest and most welcome news at this year's convention was the announcement of not one, but two major partnerships for rural mental health. First up, the Farm Family Wellness Alliance, a coalition of food and agriculture organizations that are launching free, anonymous online mental health services for farmers and ranchers nationwide. Next came the Love Your Mind campaign. At the forefront, Florida Farm Bureau member and mental health advocate, Marshall Sewell.
Watching that video and sharing the story sometimes, it's not easy, it's not comfortable. And President Duvall, in your opening session, you actually shared some comments. You quoted Philippians, and I'll say this: I choose to believe that the Lord's not going to waste pain. And so I share that story in the hopes that we can have a positive impact and that we can change others positively.
I mean, probably just 5-10 years ago, the stigma was you didn't talk about those problems. So I think it's great to hear Zippy get up on stage and talk about how it's okay to not be okay and to get out and talk about it.
So let's explore these new frontiers before us. Let's keep blazing a trail with leadership, perseverance, and teamwork and faith. And we have got this if we work together. Thank you and God bless you. It's an honor and privilege to serve as your president. God bless the American farmer.
One thing about Georgia Farm Bureau, its future looks very bright, especially given the current state of the Young Farmers and Ranchers program. A lot of talent in that group. And as Damon Jones reports, the ones who competed in the various competitions here in Salt Lake City made a lasting impression.
Some of the brightest young minds in the world of agriculture were on hand here in Salt Lake City to participate in young farmer and rancher competitions like the discussion meet. This year, Georgia was represented by Andy Paul of Oglethorpe County, who is excited for the opportunity.
Oh my gosh, it's huge. Just to know that I was chosen by folks in Georgia to represent the state that I love. This is one of the biggest honors that I've ever gotten, so very grateful.
It's a task he took very seriously, with countless hours of work going into the preparation.
I've tried to study at least an hour every night for the past 2 months or so, and that's the minimum. But it's been a lot, just podcasts and resources, and there's such a wide variety of things that we had to study for that it's been constant. My wife will attest that it's been constantly on my mind for a minute now.
All that hard work certainly paid off as he advanced into the Sweet 16 against competition that was equally as enthusiastic.
Everybody's so passionate and everybody's so talented at what they do. But the thing that I love is when we sit down at the table, we do our opening statements, and then it's time for us to discuss for 25 minutes. Everybody cares more about the agriculture industry than they do their own talking points. And I think that's just the coolest thing to be a part of.
Franklin County's Cole and Nicole Roper finished in the top 10 of the Excellence in Ag competition, which provided them a platform to share their journey.
I think being able to share your story is something that extremely is important, and Cole and I both are very passionate about being able to share with others what we do. You know, it's so hard as agriculturalists sometimes that people don't understand, what do you do every day? And so being able to share that with people and being able to compete and be able to explain what we do on our farm is something that's very exciting.
The main message we were getting across was impact. Whether that's an impact on your community, the impact on your state or your nation. And the impact for us starts in our community with our sweet corn operation and the impact we can leave on our community as well as that next generation.
These events also offer a unique opportunity for the spread of new ideas amongst the competitors.
Whether it's the people from North Carolina or Tennessee, we've also met a couple from Arizona and Utah. Just being able to network with them and see how they do things on their operation has been very valuable.
Being able to learn what they do on their farm and how, some different practices that maybe we could take back to our farm was something that was very beneficial to Cole and I that we experienced today.
While the networking and exchange of ideas are major reasons for taking part in these events, in the end, it is still a competition.
We grow up in organizations, we grow up playing sports or in FFA and in 4-H, and we get this natural drive to compete. And then once you graduate, there's not as many opportunities for that. And so if you love to compete, it's a chance to get back in. If you love to learn, get back involved. And if you love to speak, this is the spot for you.
Reporting from AFBF Convention in Salt Lake City, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thanks so much. Well, we are just getting started here in Salt Lake City. When we come back, right along as we explore Utah's incredible state parks with Georgia Farm Bureau members and meet the man who put it all together. I mean, the time and effort him and his staff spend organizing these trips, off the charts.
Plus, 2 proud Georgia pups are probably howling at the moon after being honored here at convention, one of them earning the distinct title of American Farm Bureau's Farm Dog of the Year. That's next when the Farm Monitor continues from Salt Lake City. All right, welcome back to the Farm Monitor as we continue our special coverage from Salt Lake City and the annual American Farm Bureau Convention. Some interesting tidbits about Salt Lake City. Did you know it hosted the 2002 Winter Olympics? In fact, Utah Olympic Park, just 25 miles east of here, has become a popular tourist attraction and still serves as an official training site for the U.S. Olympic Committee. And for all you wildlife enthusiasts, you'll appreciate this. While our cameras were out there, we caught a mother moose and her calf coming down from the mountainside and probably looking for a bite to eat. And how about this for you poultry producers? The very first Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise didn't actually pop up in Kentucky, but surprisingly right here just outside of Salt Lake City. In 1952, the man behind the recipe, Colonel Sanders, decided to share his chicken creation with a friend named Fred Harmon. Excited by the overwhelming love for the menu, Harmon ended up naming his establishment Kentucky Fried Chicken. And to this day, the original spot is still frying up that iconic chicken. Who knew? Well, let me tell you, during these annual conventions, the Georgia Farm Bureau's Member Services Division really kicks it up a notch. They take serious pride in making sure all members have the time of their lives.
Yes, they do. And the person leading the charge is Member Services Director Jay Murdoch. Now, between us, Jay is basically the unsung hero behind these unforgettable trips. Funny enough, though, when you ask him, he will give all the credit to his amazing team. But truth be told, it's Jay's gig to cruise around the country, hunt down the coolest spots a year or two ahead of the convention, and piece together an experience that Georgia Farm Bureau members, employees, and volunteers will be talking about forever.
I think historically at American Farm Bureau Convention, they used to do a membership breakfast for the folks that go out to the American Farm Bureau Convention. And once you've seen the inside of a hotel ballroom, you've seen them all. Once you've eaten cold pancakes at a hotel, you know, you get tired of that. And so our now retired Chief Administrative Officer, Wayne Daniel, decided, let's take that same money and try to put together an experience for our people that go. Something unique to the area and give them a chance to kind of experience where we're going. I've already been to San Antonio, which is January of 2025. That's where convention is next year, and I've already been out there for the first meeting related to that. They call it the FAM meeting, which I believe is short for familiarization. I'm not sure, I've never asked, but I think that's what it is. And we go out there and we tour all the convention hotels, the convention center. We get to kind of put in our top choice of where we like to stay. And then that's when I go out and I try to figure out what would be our folks would enjoy out there. And so our folks tend to enjoy history, cultural type things. And so I try to find something along those lines.
We have watched Jay work behind the scenes on this particular one for the last year. And when you can get 150 people where they're supposed to be on time and nobody's complaining, they all bragging about what a good job Jay and Jennifer and their crew do. We are very, very lucky at Farm Bureau to have somebody that's that detailed and that good at the job they do.
In and around Salt Lake City, the propensity for snow is a lot more than it is in southern Utah. So when you're planning a tour, you don't want to rely necessarily on Mother Nature. And so the thought of going to southern Utah, which doesn't get near as much snow as the Salt Lake City area, was intriguing to us. So I went and checked it out. The national parks we're going to, Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon, are just unbelievably beautiful. And it's not like you're going to pass through there. You got to be making a point to go there. And so we just thought, we could go to Yellowstone, that's in the area, but most folks go to Yellowstone, but not a lot of people go to those southern Utah national parks. And so we thought that would be a unique experience for them that they might not otherwise get to do. Earlier I talked about there's a bunch of lists you have to keep, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Jennifer Bracewell, my assistant director. She keeps up with spreadsheets and lists and this checklist, and I couldn't do it without her. I don't know how she does it. She's very, very detail oriented and keeps me straight, so thank you to her for all the work she puts in on that.
Yep, that was a lot of fun, and that drive up through southern Utah, just absolutely spectacular.
Yes.
Speaking of spectacular, this year at convention, we witnessed history in the making. Not one, but two incredible dogs from Georgia taking top honors in their respective categories. First up, we have Casper, the legendary Great Pyrenees from Decatur, Georgia. This fearless canine fought off multiple coyotes to save his flock from impending doom, and guess what? Through a nationwide vote, Casper secured the title of People's Choice Pup for 2024. I mean, who wouldn't love for the hero who defended his territory? Am I right, Kenny?
Yeah, but wait, there's more. Let me introduce you to Skippy, the mixed breed wonder dog owned by Donald and Laura Adams from McDuffie County. Donald, a beef cattle farmer who was disabled after an accident, found his lifeline in Skippy. Thanks to Farm Dog USA, a nonprofit that trains dogs to assist disabled farmers, Skippy has been a game changer. This Australian Shepherd mix not only made it possible for Donald to continue farming, he's also earned the title of the 2024 American Farm Bureau Farm Dog of the Year. Here now, Skippy's story as documented by our friends at American Farm Bureau.
When you have an injury like I have, if you sit in the chair or sit on the couch, that's where you're going to end up. Get by. Because we have Skippy to help us, every day we're doing something. If it wasn't for her helping us with the cows to keep me busy, things might not be as good as they are now. There. Good girl. Skippy is a Border Collie, Catahoula Hound, Australian Shepherd mix that we were fortunate enough to receive. We've had her a little over a year now. She's all of the above. She's a partner, she's a pet. She's right here with us, helping us with the cattle every day.
Donald was out with his son feeding hay, and the last bale bounced the wrong way and hit him in the back of the head, broke his neck, and it bent the spinal cord. He was completely paralyzed from the neck down.
I wasn't gonna leave the farm. There wasn't no doubt. As long as I got a breath in me, I'm gonna take care of the cattle and the farm. I was still at Shepherd's Spinal Hospital in Atlanta, and we were introduced to Farm Dog, which supplies dogs to disabled farmers to help them keep going, and thank God we did.
Skippy kind of filled that role that, it would take 3 or 4 people to herd 40 cows out of one pasture to another. Skippy and I can do it by ourselves. Skippy can do it by herself, to be honest.
It's gonna be hard to replace her. She's just such a loyal companion. She's about like my wife is, about like my children is. You just think so much of these dogs. This type of injury, you've got to stay busy all the time. And that's why the cattle and Skippy helping us is responsible a lot for my recovery. Being able to keep the cows and something for me to live for every day, I mean, she's contributed to that immensely.
Getting a farm dog involved with us changed our life.
Now, that's what I call a double dose of Georgia greatness. Casper, the coyote conqueror, and Skippy, the farmer's friend. They have made their mark, and we salute those Paulsome heroes. Still to come, it's back to Georgia and the beautiful setting of Savannah for the annual Georgia Dairy Conference. Discover the fresh ideas that were shared to enhance farmers' economic conditions and cattle health.
Ray DeLessio along with Kenny Burgamy as we continue our coverage from the 105th American Farm Bureau Convention from here in Salt Lake City. Before we go, we do want to send it back to Georgia and John Holcomb, who tells us that between the new technology, information sessions, and networking, attending events like the Georgia Dairy Conference is vital for those dairymen and women who want to improve on efficiency as well as their profit margins.
In Savannah recently, dairy producers from around the state and southeast got the chance to gather under one roof to discuss the dairy industry. It was a time of fellowship and education as producers heard from experts about the many issues facing their industry.
A lot of information can be gathered off the internet, but true friendships and alliances are established eye-to-eye handshake opportunities. It allows us to attract dairy farmers from all over the southeast, vendors and scientists and university staff, gives a forum and a platform for mutual discussion of the day-to-day issues facing the dairy industry.
One of the important issues discussed was the current economic pressures producers have dealt with the last couple of years. Pressures that have put a lot of strain on their operations and have even caused some to go out of business.
These last few years with the inflation, raising interest rates, it's put a lot of pressure on a lot of people, and the cost and the cash flow required to run a business like a dairy has increased significantly. So right now dairy producers have really had a lot of pressure, and as we might guess, some people are weathering the storm better than others, but I think it's a stress for all of them.
DuVetter says that because of those economic pressures, producers have had to make tough decisions that unfortunately have hurt a lot of them in the end.
When times are tight, and this last year for sure has with the inflation, a lot of us want to tighten our belt. And when we tighten our belt, that means I'm going to try to spend less money. I have to try to spend less money because everything is costing me more. And what happens then is we start sacrificing production. I'm trying to save myself to prosperity. That's very, very difficult to do because we have data that says those people that tend to spend more money and make sure they keep cows healthy and comfortable, make more milk, tend to be more profitable. Unfortunately, there's sometimes that we have to save money, and that saving money ends up hurting us.
Thankfully, inflation has declined since its peak in 2022. However, DuVetter says that the problems producers continue to face are not going anywhere anytime soon.
The issues we faced the last couple of years, they're not going to go away overnight. The fact that they're better today than they were a year ago, that's a good sign, but they're still tough, right? I mean, the fact that inflation's lower than it was is great, but it's lower from a very high number. So my expectations are these are going to be pressures that will keep putting stress and pressures on our dairy producers for the next several years. So the challenges in 2023 are not going to disappear anytime soon, unfortunately.
Reporting in Savannah for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, John, thanks so much. Well, unfortunately, that wraps up our coverage from Convention 2024. Now we look ahead to next year's convention and hopefully warm and sunny San Antonio. It was kind of cold here.
In the meantime, huge thanks to American Farm Bureau for helping to make this show possible. The extra videos, this space, we couldn't have done it without them. Before we go now, quick reminder for all the latest ag info and what's happening on Georgia Farms. Be sure you check out our social media platforms, including farm-monitor.com. For Ray DeLessio and everybody here at the show, I'm Kenny Burgamy. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week right here on the Farm Monitor.
Stay safe. Have a great week.